This is Chapter 10 of Jack Weatherby, Cat Person. Jack awoke to the light and warmth of the afternoon sun on his face. The knot in his stomach had gone, and he felt like he could face life again. He opened his eyes and lifted his head, then tucked his feet under him to lay on his belly. At his movement, Rocky lifted his head and opened his eyes, too. He bumped Jack gently on the face with his nose, then slowly rolled over to sit up. He looks okay, Jack thought. Just a little creaky is all. But at the back of his mind, he still knew that his time with Rocky was limited. We need to make the most of it, he thought. So Jack stood up and nudged Rocky a few times until Rocky got up too, then led him out the cat door and around the house into the front yard. Maybe just being outside where he could see birds in the yard would get him moving. But once Rocky was outside, he just lay in the sun on the driveway and closed his eyes. Jack tried to get Rocky into a game of pouncing on fallen leaves, but Rocky just watched him for a few moments, uninterested, and closed his eyes once more. Jack tried to get Rocky to engage in a play fight or a game of chase, but Rocky only opened his eyes long enough to bat Jack once hard on the nose, before rolling onto his back and stretching out fully. This was going nowhere. Jack was considering whether he could bring himself to actually catch a live bird to get Rocky's attention, when he heard his phone ring back inside the house. He rushed inside to check who was calling. "It's Mom!" Jack felt a rush of happiness. Obviously he couldn't answer the phone, but at least they could message each other. He declined the call, but immediately wrote to her. "Hey Mom, sorry I can't take your call right now, but I can text you. What's up?" "Are you in the bathroom? You know I can't stand the thought of someone texting me from the bathroom." "Ew, no, I'm just in a conference call, Mom." "Okay, I just got home from the grocery store and I saw your email. It's been a long time. How are you?" "Pretty good. I finally finished my part of the Nord firm proposal, like I said in the email. I've just been catching up on other work today." "Okay," wrote his mom, "but how are you?" "Pretty lonely, to be honest," responded Jack. "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. It's hard moving to a new place all on your own. Are you getting out at all?" "Yeah, I was just out last night, in fact. Didn't really meet anyone, though. I'm trying to meet some people online. Just started today, so no luck yet." "Well, I know you don't like it when I try to give you advice, so I'll just keep it to myself. Are you eating enough? Keeping your weight up?" "Yeah, actually, I'm in great shape. I can run faster than ever. My vertical leap has really improved. I'm on a sort of keto diet." "Oh, that's nice. I've read a little about that, just so long as you're healthy." "What about you and Dad? Are you two doing okay?" "Yes, we're fine. Don't you worry about us. Dad is just counting the months until he can retire with full benefits. Does your company have a good retirement plan?" "Good enough. I've made some changes to my spending recently, too, so I'm saving a lot more than I used to." "I hope that doesn't include cutting back on spending for a social life." "Is that why you can't meet anybody? Are you trying too hard to save?" "No, Mom, I just think I'm having a hard time connecting with people. But I'm glad you wrote back. It's been good to talk." "Of course, Jack. You know we're always here for you. We love you." "I love you too, Mom. Say hi to Dad for me, too." "I will. Call us soon." "Bye, Mom." Jack sighed. It felt good to have finally talked with his mom. He didn't like having to lie to her, though. They'd always had a really open and honest relationship. He knew he could tell either of his parents anything. They had taught him, when he was young, that there'd be no punishment if he told them the truth about something bad he'd done or something bad that had happened during his day. And they'd been good to their word. There were natural consequences, of course, just no arbitrary punishments. Jack thought about the time when he had gone to a friend's house and they'd snuck a can of spray cheese out of the pantry, and Jack had eaten half of the cheese on a dare. He ended up with a really bad stomachache and diarrhea, and his friend had just laughed at him. Jack told his parents that instead of saying he couldn't play at that friend's house or calling his friend's parents, they just said, "We're sorry you got sick. Want to take some better snacks along next time?" They were good parents. In fact, thought Jack, they're really great parents. They would at least try to believe me if I told them what's really going on. And then maybe I wouldn't have to figure this out on my own. He decided to think about it over the weekend and decide by Sunday night. For now, he would just take care of anything that had come up for work while he was napping, check whether anyone had written back to him through that Friend Finder app, and then grab some dinner before the news came on. Jack filled Rocky's bowl with food first, then ordered dinner for himself again online so he'd have some more leftovers for the weekend. Then he sat down to look at his phone. Nobody had written back to him. It had been a whole workday since he'd sent all those messages, and still nothing. He jumped off the couch and scratched his claws in the carpet in irritation. So you can get anything you need online except a real friend, he thought wryly, and then hopped back onto the couch to delete the app. Swiping it into the garbage can icon on his phone felt like admitting that his plan to be a digital hermit might not work so well after all. He swatted the phone across the couch, then flopped down to turn on the news. Police in Amherst say that an anonymous tip led them to a hoard of stolen jewelry worth over $2 million. The jewelry had been stolen in a chain of thefts from multiple stores across northern Ohio and Pennsylvania. The suspect in the case was pulled over by the Ohio State Highway Patrol, who were responding to an APB from the Amherst Police Department, using a license plate number received through the anonymous email tip. The jewelry is being returned to its rightful owners, one of whom has already offered a $50,000 reward to the person who submitted the anonymous tip. Jack's jaw hit the couch as he heard the news. $50,000? A very wealthy-looking old woman appeared on the screen, being interviewed by the reporter. This necklace has been in my family for generations. I had just dropped it off at the jewelry store for cleaning the day before, and then it was stolen. This was weeks ago, and the police said there were no leads. I had given up hope of ever seeing it again. It just means so much to me to have it back, and this reward is my way of saying thank you to whoever caught that thief in the act. The news anchor came on the screen again. Police say that since the tip was received by email, it will be a simple matter for whoever sent it to prove they're the tipster, because no one else will be able to send another message from the same address. Jack was flabbergasted. He hadn't been thinking at all about a reward when he submitted the tip to the police. He'd just been thinking about the excitement of it all and had wanted to help. But $50,000? That would pay off his student loans completely with money left over. Jack sat up straight, his tail twitching as he stared out the window at nothing, thinking of how this could solve all his financial problems. With his student loans paid off and his newly reduced living expenses, he could retire in... He looked down at the carpet and did some rough mental calculations. Just 5 more years. He could travel the world. He could live like a king. He could... Reality cut Jack's musings short. If I could do that, I could do that if I could actually claim the reward, he thought. He stared at the floor for a few moments, stunned, until his mind started racing. How can I get the reward without revealing who I am and the fact that I'm a cat? They'll need to know a bank account to transfer the reward money to. Bank accounts have names attached to them. The police will want to interrogate me to find out how I knew about the robbery, so as soon as they find out my name, my secret life as a cat is over. He just kept coming back to this same difficulty in everything he did today. He couldn't live his life happily without being able to interact with people face to face. Sure, he could merely get by just doing everything on the internet, but he simply couldn't function and be happy being completely alone all the time. He would have to tell someone what had happened to him, and who better to tell than his own parents? Jack fetched the phone from the other end of the couch and wrote to his mom. I need to talk to you about something, Mom, but I'd really rather do it in person than on the phone. Do you think you and Dad could come visit me sometime soon? What's wrong, Jack? Are you okay? The phone started ringing almost immediately as Jack's mom tried to call him. He dismissed the call and wrote back to her instead. Mom, I can't talk on the phone with you about this. I need to see you in person. Why don't you pick up the phone, Jack? Did you do something illegal and you're being watched by the police? Did you get involved with a gang or something? Jack, are you on drugs? You know you can talk to me about anything. Just pick up the phone. All the messages came in quick succession. Jack couldn't get a word in edgewise. Mom, no, I'm fine. I'm safe. I didn't do anything illegal, and nobody's watching me or trying to kill me. I just literally can't talk with you on the phone. I need to meet you. And I also can't drive, so I need you to come here, please. Jack, you can't tell me that you're literally unable to talk or drive and expect me not to insist on at least some details before I drive for more than 4 hours to see you in person. What is going on? Look, Mom, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. You'd think I was crazy or something. And you'd just have to drive here anyway to put your mind at ease. So will you please just come see me? It doesn't have to be this weekend. It could be next month if you want. I really am that okay. I just would like to see you. Fine, yes, of course I'll come see you, and I'm coming this weekend. Ted will come too. Thank you, Mom. I know I'm being weird, but you can trust me. When do you think you'll get here? We'll come in the morning. We'll leave about 6, so we'll see you by 10. Okay, I'll see you then. Thank you again, Mom. I love you. I love you too, Jack. Please be safe. I will, Mom. I promise. Bye. Jack rolled his eyes. That went worse than I expected, he thought, and I haven't even told her yet. But there was nothing to be done at this point. He let the cat out of the bag, he told himself, then... No, that was awful. No more cat puns for you, Jack. He slipped off the couch and went back into the kitchen. Rocky's food dish sat in the corner untouched. That's weird. Jack went out through the cat door and trotted to the driveway where he had left Rocky sunning himself earlier. Rocky wasn't there either. Maybe he's gone for a walk after all. Jack meowed loudly to call Rocky, but there was no response. He radared his ears around and lifted his nose to catch the breeze, hoping he'd detect Rocky that way. Still nothing. He put his nose to the ground where Rocky had been and caught his scent, then tried to pick up any others to see whether perhaps another animal had been involved in Rocky's disappearance. But all he smelled was tire rubber and asphalt. That's probably pretty normal for a driveway, he thought, though I've never tried to sniff one before. Where in the world was Rocky? He didn't normally go out for long in his declining years, and usually that was only for short trips into the yard. Jack started to feel worried. He put his nose down again and tried to pick up Rocky's scent, using the same search pattern he had used on the library lawn to track the plant thief. After a few times around his circle, he picked up a faint trail that smelled of Rocky heading down the sidewalk, and followed it. That is the end of Chapter 10. Tune in tomorrow for the exciting continuation of Jack Weatherby, Cat Person. Will he find Rocky? Will he get kidnapped? Who knows? See you tomorrow.